are.
Hi everyone, good afternoon and happy Friday. Hope everyone is doing well and staying cool out there. I'm Rafia and you know my co-host over there, Greg.
Hi,
and
everyone.
today we are going to be speaking with Julie Hopkins and finding out all about her business. If you have any questions for her, please put it into the comments, or if you have questions for Greg and I, you can go ahead and put it into the comments. We will answer them for you. So, Julie, welcome. How are you?
Thank you. Really, I'm doing well. I'm just
Trying to-
a little warm, but
Yeah,
It is-
she's
it
got
is
her
warm.
fan.
We
fan.
are-
It's all ready to go.
This is portable air conditioning right here, and I'm getting the benefits of this as well, so
It's right here on this side.
all good.
So, tell everybody what you do and how long you've been doing it. We'll start there and then we'll continue.
Okay. Well, I'm a professional portrait photographer. I create memories for people, pets, and professionals.
Okay.
I have a studio in South San Vicente Boulevard and 5th Street. But I do go on location to photograph at your business or or whatever, or location in a park or some precious area that you might like around town. And what else should I say?
So that's like in West Hollywood area?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do most people like to do? Do they like to stay home and do it, or do they like to go to like a location? I never thought of that. But
Yeah, it depends. For something like a headshot professional, I mean, they often like to be in the studio because I have the nice lighting set up.
Got it.
Have backgrounds, and they're cool, a cool air-conditioned place, and they will be able to just relax. They're not being seen by anybody passing the street. But at realtors, they like to be outdoors.
Sure, that makes sense.
Depends on the profession, but I can.
So Vicky is saying that we need to speak up a little
Oh, okay.
bit. Okay.
All
Can
right.
you hear us now? Okay.
Yes, we'll use our opera voices. Okay.
She says that every time. Is it
Does she?
possible? Is it possible Vicky can't hear?
Is it
Okay.
possible that maybe her device is
Yeah.
maybe?
No, it's us.
No, it could be.
It could be.
Yeah.
I'm just teasing.
Think
you
of-
because
I don't know. It could be. Sometimes my phone has been really lower on volume for some reason. I don't know why it does
Suffering
that.
from heat as well.
Yeah.
She says it's better, so we're good. Thank
Okay,
you,
good.
Vicky.
Okay, thanks, Vicky. But we appreciate you telling us, because if you didn't tell us, we would
wouldn't
not know.
No.
But okay, so your location is over there, and then I missed the part where you said how long you've been doing it.
Okay, well, yes, that's a part. Okay, since 2005, I've been working professionally with a business name, Camera Creations Photography. Before I was doing a little bit for art galleries. I shoot with a large format, 4x5 camera, because they wanted actual E6 processing. It's like not a negative, a positive, and they're about this big. And I just there's a whole thing of sliding the thing, putting a little black cover over your head, and then photographing the artwork. I mean, because they wanted that at that time.
Like in the old
is that
days.
kind of aging me? A little bit, but
Like in the old
yeah,
days.
it's in the 2000s. I mean, the year 2000, 2001. But yeah, and then of course transitioned into digital. But but it was 2005 that I actually started the business as Camera Creations.
What got you started in this? Why did you decide that this was a profession for you?
Well, because in my past life, or my other life, I was a professional ballet dancer, and I was doing something very creative, and I loved that part of aspect of my life, being part of a creative field, and I missed it. I had studied art history. I worked in an art gallery after dancing, and I was a little frustrated with administrative work. And so at nighttime, I took photography classes, and because I wanted to paint from photos, I liked painting. But as I got more and more involved with photography, especially the black and white, room where you see the images coming up like this, and in little, chemicals, and you're just watching an image come up. I thought
It's exciting. When
It's
you see
exciting,
something
and
come to
it's
life.
sensual, and it's creative, and I was so happy in the photography department that I thought,
Very nice.
okay, maybe I could make this into a profession.
So when you were thinking you were going to do art with it, like would you be doing like acrylic or watercolor, or what were you thinking?
Well, I was thinking I wanted to
Oil?
painting period with acrylics and a brush,
Okay.
and then the photography would just be something to perk my memory. Like I take photos.
Well, yeah, you take photos of, like, let's say a landscape, and then you come back and paint it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
okay.
but then I wanted to be able to do that with an SLR camera, where you know how to use the lens and the focus
Right.
and the aperture and all this, and to just be able to handle that.
Do you do any painting now?
No, I don't. I strictly do photography now.
Photography.
And Photoshop is just kind of a little bit painting involved.
Yeah, well,
Pretty.
fair enough.
But that's more digital painting.
Yes. It is.
Yeah. It's digital painting and not, hi Kathy, hi Vicky, thank you all for joining, I appreciate it, and if you guys will ask questions, put it into the comments for us. We're talking to Julie Hopkins today, and she has a business called Camera Creations, and she has a studio where she can take headshots and photographs of you and do all of that stuff, so you can go to her studio, which is located on San Vicente in West Hollywood. We'll put all of her information down into this live. We'll have her website and all of that on there too. So if you want to ask questions, please do. We'd love to hear from you. And okay, so we got as far as that you wanted to do this as a means of going to another art medium, which would be painting. So do you paint at all now, or
No, I don't paint.
No?
It just
not even for fun?
Not even for fun. I mean, the photography just took over. I mean, I fell in love with it, especially the darkroom work, and I just harbored a little secret. Maybe I can become a professional photographer. While I was taking classes in Santa Monica College, they have a very good photography program, and then I just went through that program, and I just started the business. I had a friend that also told me, hey, I know a space available, and I went in with her to the space, and we opened a studio. And we were separate businesses, but we together. Yeah, and
The space to
helps.
share.
And I still have that space now. So.
Okay, and she's not there anymore?
No, she
Okay.
decided to.
Vicky's asking, what is your favorite thing to photograph? What do you like to photograph
The most? I like to photograph the dance the most.
Dance?
Because that's part of my past life. I was a professional ballet dancer.
Right.
And I have done a lot of dance photography for ballet companies, and I'd like to continue doing more.
Okay, well that's interesting. So what made you stop dancing?
Age. I
Okay.
mean, it's as with gymnasts, athletes, kind of a limited
It
time.
It has an expiration
Yes,
date.
expiration date. It's kind of early, and I stopped at 31.
Okay.
And then you also want to leave time. You think, as a ballet dancer, you think, well, what am I going to do after this? But also, you need to have time to study, to have the energy. And I didn't want to wait too long. I felt like I might not have the same amount of energy as I had then to go through school, work, and get some other kind of.
So can people hire you to come to their events and do photography, or do you prefer just to do it at your studio?
No, I go to. I prefer doing things at my studio because, of course, I don't have to drive in the traffic
And lug everything.
and everything. Yeah, lug all the heavy
Lug
equipment.
everything,
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
that's the hardest part.
But I do go, especially for sometimes business people want to have their office featured and just talking to each, just admiring some kind of scene so that they can then put it on the website instead of using Getty images, or just they prefer to have their own images, and is a good thing when you have a business. And but I prefer to stay at the studio, but I do go also for families. They might have a nice backyard, and also events. I do have to go to the event.
Like weddings, do you do weddings?
I do.
Okay.
Mostly smaller weddings,
Okay.
about 100 and under. I bring an assistant with me, and
Okay.
We
So-
were talking earlier about how, back in the day, all families took pictures. We had family portraits.
Yeah.
And it's not quite the same.
Yeah, it's not as much a tradition in Los Angeles. It's kind of a lost
Nothing.
art, but because in the Midwest, yes, the South, people are doing that because
Yes.
they tend to entertain more at home, and so
Yes.
that's when they could show off the family
And
portraits.
more family oriented.
Well, we don't have seasons either, so.
Yeah, so you have just summer.
Yeah, I'll never forget. I had a rep in New York, and I made this bracelet, and it had like a black velvet thing to it, and the bracelet took off and sold like crazy. However, my rep in New York said, you're going to have to figure out something else to use besides velvet because that season's almost over. And I thought,
yeah, what?
yeah, because we in California we don't have that kind of stuff,
Don't have seasons.
No, we don't have seasons.
Just
But
have
also
trees.
Midwest would have a lot of seasons
Oh, yeah.
as well. But
Yeah.
we're not that particular. We
No.
still wear white after Labor Day.
We're very, we don't wear nylons anymore. It's just,
Yeah, so it is a little different. But so when you go to an event like a wedding, let's say, and you bring in a person with you, how many hours, or do you have to go the entire time and before because you're taking before pictures and stuff too, or do you have like just a couple hours that you do?
depends upon the person, because they'll tell me what they want, but usually, traditionally, I go when they're getting ready, because that's part of the fun part.
Right?
Putting on the makeup, or the men doing their thing, and
You can offer
take some.
advice and tell them how to what works better and all that.
Well, that's beforehand. That I consult with people well before, and we make a plan. And usually, the wedding planner also has a timeline and all that.
Right.
And and I can give them advice of just things, what you should wear, how to be photo ready, and I have to know what the location is so that I might even go scout it out just to see what kind of interesting spots, so that when I'm there, all I have to do is tell them, come over here, we'll go over there. We'll
Sure,
take
yeah.
a few shots. But
You're doing your homework ahead of time, so it makes it easier on you. So, do they pay you, or do you charge by the event, or do you charge by the hour?
I charge by the hour, but then again, it also is, there's a possibility if somebody wants a package, then we'll do something like, okay, well, you'll have maybe an engagement session beforehand, and then the wedding, and then we'll have, I could be doing an album, we could do a large one, a small one, so those are things we discussed before. And that could be a package, so say it's a 6-hour package, an 8-hour package, a 10-hour package, or by the hour if they just want something very simple, they just want to get the images, and they can do everything themselves, but it's always a discussion, beforehand.
Wow. So you could be like doing this the whole day.
Oh yeah, it can be, it can be 10 hours, but they can go on forever. An Indian wedding, that could be
for days.
Start Monday
Yes.
and end on Friday. Yeah, but I can see where that would take a lot of
If
time.
you've never been to an Indian wedding, it's usually at least 3 days long. So, she's not kidding. Yeah.
Some of them aren't even married by the time it's over, right?
What?
Some of them, they're not even married by the time it's over.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not kidding. Are you kidding? They would kill them.
Yes, I know.
The families would
that's
kill
work.
them.
We live in LA, that's all I'm going to say.
No.
But okay.
It's still in LA. They still have these kinds of celebrations. It's a cultural, way, and that's how they do it. It's a big deal, and it's like, lots of money spent on a wedding for sure,
Lots and lots of
But it's a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, and also, have you ever
I haven't photographed an
Indian
Indian
wedding?
Not yet, no.
No, you haven't. Oh, and the clothing and the fashion. That's it's just beautiful.
I know. I've heard about them, and I've been told what they're like, and I've seen photos. A lot of henna, it's part of the tour.
Right.
Time to do.
That's a whole event in itself,
Mhm.
and then it goes on and on from there. It just goes for days, Sometimes it goes longer. Some people have them for like a week or two,
What are they doing in all this time?
It's one celebration after another,
it's
It just
Yeah,
keeps
we're
continuing.
traditional things that they're done. Just like you have the cake cutting and the whatever, the throwing of the flowers. There's the bouquet.
There's 20 minutes. Yeah.
That's 20.
There's usually like a percussion of people carrying goodies or presents or
There's
gifts.
a lot of formalities involved.
Yeah,
obviously.
on trays. It's not wrapped, so like you can see what's on the tray, and they carry it to the bride. And it's usually the groom side of the family carries it to the bride. And then when they do the henna thing, the bride is sitting there getting the henna done, and then the bride is fed the sweets,
Oh,
and she just sits there, and everyone comes up and feeds her.
oh. So what about the jewelry too? There's a
Oh,
lot
the
of
jewelry!
getting,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh! Don't even get me started on that. Yeah, if you've
Well,
never been to
certainly,
one,
yeah.
you should definitely try and make friends with someone who can invite you.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Try to
But
find
yes.
someone who's getting married.
Yes.
But I guess what we're saying to come back to what we're talking about with Julie and photographs is they're so colorful, and so much fun to photograph because there's just so much vibrancy.
I certainly would love to do that because I mean, it's like photographing. I photographed the Ebell Club of Los Angeles, the building on Lucerne and Wilshire. If you've never been there, you should go. It's a beautiful
I've heard of it.
1920s, and so originally started as a women's club, and it still is a women's club, but they do have weddings in there because it's so scenic inside, and as a photographer, you can't go wrong. I mean,
Yeah, there's always something.
A lot of good
something
stuff.
for you.
Arches and pretty,
What is the most memorable one that you've ever done that still sticks with you?
A
That
wedding.
a wedding or anything that you photograph, it can just be a photograph. What's the most memorable one that sticks with you?
Oh boy, I put on the spot. I mean, there was a fabulous wedding that was up in the hills in Santa Monica, a little house, and I mean, the people were just so joyous and fun, and I was able to do a lot of crazy. They would be up to doing almost anything, and so they're big do funny strike the pose, and just fun, and it was a Persian and a Christian wedding mixed together, but so they had the beautiful setup of the Persian, flowers and candies and all this, and that was just fun, and I remember it, and the dancing afterwards, and but Dad is, I think dance, photographing dancers has been sometimes like a performance when, photographing a performance, and when it's a great performance, and I'm able to capture, I know, oh my God, I got that great shot. Dancers would always tell me, it's so wonderful, you captured me, I never have had a photo taken of me that nice, because I know the timing and musicality, and so I'm able to capture the dancer at the height of the movement. But there's one of them in particular, this one performance, the dancers were good, and this girl took this beautiful position, and then she's a writer, she was featured in Vogue, and then they put that photo in Vogue. So
Oh, nice! So your photo got into
yeah, my
Vogue.
photo got into it. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's fabulous. So have you done any other print work like that? That you particularly doing for a magazine?
Well, the book, I was published for a yoga book, and I kind of brought with me too. But it's she was doing chair yoga, and it's Yashmi. Wait, her last name, Lakshmi. Oh, geez, I can't remember her last
That's
name.
all right.
But she wanted me to do I did several, like 2 days worth of photos, and we did all the yoga positions, and then she republished the book, and she, of course, gave me credit. What else?
That's terrific.
Magazines, sometimes, but I've had a few images put in there from a performance. I mean, that's an area I love, and I obviously would like to do more, and I'm looking for dance schools. If anybody out there that has a dance school or knows of people that have a dance school.
So when you did that magazine, whatever, did you get credit photography by?
You know what? I didn't. And the person.
Shame on that person.
Yeah. Because I spoke. My friend told me she was directing City Ballet of Los Angeles, and she said, "By the way, your image is in Vogue." I went, "What?" I said, "Yes. One of the dancers was featured in Vogue." So I went and bought the Vogue. I looked at it. I thought, "Oh, my image is. Oh, wow! It's really a big image, and how wonderful." And then I looked for credit, and nothing there. So I was quite disappointed, to say the least.
Yeah.
And I tried. I spoke with the person that actually was an article written on her, and she said, "Oh, well, weren't sure how to credit." Oh no, I don't know what she said. She just didn't think about it. And I spoke to the Vogue, and then they said we didn't really know how to credit you because there was no photography credit. I said, well, you should have found out about that because that's really important for me.
Big deal.
What a loss.
Yeah. But
what a shame.
what I did is I kept the photo. I got several magazines that I copied the photo.
Right.
And,
Sure, you could still
the cover, and so I could
people you
still,
did.
but yeah.
Here's a question.
I was depressed.
Christine has a question. is there a dream destination where you'd love to photograph a wedding?
Okay. Oh, you know where? Probably somewhere in Scotland or you know, the beautiful rock formations and the ocean and the greenery and it was beautiful. And
Have you been to Scotland?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
I would like to go. I've been to other
I was
countries.
thinking maybe you were talking by experience that it,
I've been
no,
to Scotland. That would be
uh-huh.
very nice. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying. It would be beautiful there. That would be very nice.
Greenery. It's nature, you know. It could be if you drop us on top of, you know, near Yosemite or something in the high mountains. That's also.
If you guys just joined,
Yeah.
if you just joined, we're talking to Julie Hopkins from Camera Creations, and we're talking about photography. And if you have any questions for us, please put them into the comments, and we will read them. Greg will read them for you. And thank you for joining us.
Yeah, here's another one from Christine. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you.
What keeps photography exciting for you after all these years?
That's a good question.
The creative process. I mean, you know, every time. Well, it's never the same. That's what keeps me going. I like change. I don't like the things to stay the same. I like challenges, and so the creative process is even. You think, well, she's just going to take a picture, a headshot. It's kind of could be boring, but it's not, because I'm involved with every person is very different. Personalities are different. The way they come in, the way they're dressed, and I have to adapt the lighting to them, and then it's a matter of, you know, I pose them in different ways, but it's also getting them comfortable, talking to them, and you know, it's the lighting is, you know, there's a lot to the lighting, and that's part of the creative process I enjoy, and it just never gets tiring. I mean, it always keeps me going. Then I go to conventions, you know, I go once a year, and there learn new things, always learning something new, and that's also very stimulating for me, is, you know, learning something new and applying it. And,
Of course,
you know,
keeping up to date on what's happening. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Do you have several cameras?
Actually,
Like just one?
not really. I still have the old 4x5 camera.
Okay.
And the Sinar, and then I just have one Canon Mark III, and you know, don't really. I mean, you don't really. When I shoot weddings, I just change the lens. I mean, because I don't have many on you, but I have one. I change the lens. I have many lenses, and yeah.
Has the digital age affected you a lot? Because we were talking before.
Yeah, I mean, this advent of cell phones has kind of slowed down photography a little bit. There's not as much of a demand because people used to take the family. A photographer would be always the one that takes a photo of an event or a family photo. I mean, a family portrait. At any special occasion, they'd always hire a photographer because you just didn't have the cell phones.
Well, not just that, but I think they should still consider that, because they're not professionals, where you are a professional. You know how to stage it and how to take a good picture. And a lot of people think they can, and then they look at it a while later and they're like, oh man, that's terrible. So hopefully they take that into consideration.
Yeah, I hope so.
Don't do it by yourself. Don't do it at home.
No, and then if they have an eye for photography, or they can see the difference between a cell phone. I mean, I definitely can see the difference between a cell phone picture and a portrait that's done with even if it's outdoors. I mean, a photographer chooses the light. You know, they look for the place that's nicest light, and it's complimentary for people. And so often pop a little bit of light in when you're shooting outdoors anyway. But
I mean, I think that cell phones are great, that we can take all these pictures and stuff, but honestly, you can't beat a professional, you know, photograph like you were doing. It's a totally different situation, especially when you're printing them out. You know?
Yeah, for sure. If you want to do a large print or even
exactly.
because there's the little tricks of things that we do with the way the light is positioned, and you know, it's not just a blast of light from the front. This is flat. You know, there's a little light in the back, you know, to kind of like glow in the hair, and then sometimes there's light from the side that gives a little, you know, a definition on the cheek, you know, the jawline, and it's just it's the little tricks of the tricks.
Yeah, you can't do that on the phone.
That's it.
No, you can't.
Earl.
Earl has something to say.
Oh,
Hi, Earl.
Hi, Earl. That's Earl Trusty.
He's
I
Yes,
know that.
it
He's a
is.
good friend of ours. He wants us to ask you to brag about the award you won recently.
Oh,
What's
that's
going on there?
Sweet.
What award did you
Okay,
win?
so I'm a member of the Professional Portrait Photographers of America, and once a year they have a large convention, and during the convention then they have the competition, and it's an international competition. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of people who send in their images, and I got in to there's 30, the last 30 chosen people that go to the actual show. And so I was one of the last 30 people, and that was an award, in itself, just to get to that
Get
30.
to the 30.
And then, of course, then they had the first and second, third. But I was very happy to be part of the 30, and it was a family portrait that I did. And,
Oh, nice.
for some of that Earl knows as well. Q, right? Q, right? It was Q, right?
Well, thank you, Earl, for
Yeah,
for
bring it out.
pointing that out. It was really nice of you to do that. And what else have you done that is like, well, let's go back to, we've talked about all the positive stuff. What's the worst?
Oh.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
What's
you
the
that.
worst thing that
What's
you
a
have?
nightmare scenario with the camera?
That's always like something going malfunctioning with the equipment. I had a session, I mean, in the end it worked out okay, but I was, still unhappy because I'm not a perfectionist, but you want things to go well, right, when you're a professional.
Of course.
And so, one Saturday morning, a family called me, a woman, and she said that she's traveling, she has her family, and she wants to get a photo before she leaves Los Angeles. Can I do a session on Sunday? I'm like, okay, well, or can't you do it sometime a little bit later during the week? Because I don't usually do sessions that quickly, because I want to consult them, I want to talk to them about what clothing to wear. There's a little preparation involved. Anyway, I just thought, okay, I'll just do it because she's traveling. She's going to have to leave. They have to leave Sunday night. So I got everything set up for Sunday. They came, just before they came in, I realized that one of my lighting the triggers wasn't working. And so I panicked. I went home, what's going on? I kept checking everything, and I couldn't find the others that would, that would work, would substitute. I couldn't find them. And I just went through everything. And so finally they got there, but just before they got there, I called a friend and asked her, can I use your lighting equipment? Because she was just a few blocks away. And she brought everything. And I told the people, it's just going to be a little while. There might be some problems with the equipment. And if you don't mind waiting, and said, oh, no problem. They were busy. They're actually traveling in a trailer. So they're kind of happy to have more time.
Okay.
And, excuse me, sure enough, that equipment didn't work either with, it just so, but then what happened is I said, look, I'm just going to take, with what I had, I'm just going to take down all my equipment, I'm going to put yours up, and then I'll do it that way. So that's what I did. But of course, it took they waited for about an hour, but also, and that's what I felt bad, because they were waiting. But then again, they were in a trailer, and they were kind of like going back and just, anyhow.
Right, so they were comfortable.
Yeah, they were comfortable, and yes, and then I did this session, and everything came out fine, and she was happy with the images.
Oh, good.
And of course,
okay.
I just kept apologizing, and I gave them a discount on the session, because I just,
Of course, yeah, that was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Because they had to wait.
But that's it. I mean, that's the equipment. I mean, it's expensive, and then it's precious.
And
If
it's
you're missing
something
it,
you don't have much control over that. Like if it's a malfunction, it's a malfunction, right?
And then when they left, several hours later, I found those little pieces.
Oh, of course.
The culvert of the,
and then so I needed to replace.
Okay.
So
geez.
that was, never again.
And have you had like a customer that was really difficult?
Yes. Yeah, actually, during COVID, it's sort of the tail end when we started opening up again, I was just doing anything and everything, and I did passport photos. And a lady came in, she wanted her passport photo done, so I said, okay, good, it will come out nicer because I have my professional camera. It's much nicer than the ones you get.
Office or whatever, yeah.
So we did it, And then she asked, well, can you touch it up a little bit? Because I don't like this, my face or this and that. And I said, okay, I'll do a little bit, but we're not supposed to do much or anything really, because this is for the passport. You need to show your face the way you are.
You need to look like you.
It needs to look like you. So I did a little bit, and she chose the image, and then she came back. She left, saying she was happy. And and already had spending an hour and a half over a passport photo.
Oh my gosh.
With her going, I want this done. So anyway, I'll do that gladly for normal portraits and headshots, but a passport. Anyhow, she left, and then an hour later she called. She said, I don't really like this image. I think I want another one. So she came back, and I said, sure, you can have another one. And then she wanted that other image for free, And I said, I tried to explain to her, well, this is my business, and I don't give away the images. If you want another image, you just have to pay. I'll give it to you for less, but you have to. And anyway, that's the type of thing. Usually, when I go low already, low budget, then
They try to
it's
keep
more
pushing.
for more and more and more, and that's not.
Isn't a passport like good for 10 years?
Yes.
So if you are touching it up,
And they're aging.
and you're aging, it's not good. Maybe you get stopped at TSA or whatever. Sorry, this doesn't look like you.
When I had my facelift, I had to get it done again.
Got a couple more questions here from Christine. Thank you. What's the most unusual animal or natural scene you've captured? Do you do pets?
Yes, I do photograph pets. Yeah, mostly in the studio. That's what I've done. But and then some but home. People's home for cats, and that's I've done some really pretty shots of the cats, because their eyes, you can capture them just at the right moment, or either looking at you or just a little bit away. And so their eyes are so beautiful.
Are they hard to photograph?
Yes, because they
stay still.
well, once they know that you're photographing them, then they go away.
And they take off.
Then they take off.
Are they easier than dogs, or are dogs?
No, dogs are much easier because dogs.
Really?
I
wouldn't think that.
Yeah. Well, unless they're unruly dogs, but most people's like little dogs, you have a technique. You put them on the table, so then they'll stay on the table, and then we have it arrange everything beforehand so it looks pretty where they're sitting, or whether it's a chair or a table, and I just make they'll stay because they don't like to jump off.
Right.
And then I just tell the owner to stay on the side so you can watch the dog, and then I bark or I make funny noises, and then the dog looks at me and they'll they'll lift their ears up, or they'll so, and even with the families, when I photograph the pets with the families, I'll do that where I say you don't pay attention to me. I'll tell you how to pose, and then the dog, I'll make sure the dog looks at me or does something interesting.
Wow.
So that's with a lot of funny sounds.
But I guess you're right, because cats jump off really quick when they and the dogs can't jump.
No.
And
And they're more. Because people teach them sit. They'll sit. And they'll. They might come running towards me to look at the lens, but or if I'm making funny noises. But the cats, I've had somebody brought their cat, and he just is holding it. Wanting to get away, but so at home, the cat.
The cat, okay.
Earl says he's verifying the fact you do beautiful couples, babies, and pet photography.
I was just going to ask about babies. So,
Yes.
have you done some baby photographing, especially when they're newborn and they put them into different scenarios, different scenes?
Yeah.
You've done that?
Yes, I have.
But they have to be like a certain. They can't go beyond a certain age, right? Because you can't do it.
Yeah. It's sort of between 7 to ideally 7 to 14 days is a time.
Okay.
It's a very short period of time.
Okay.
Longer than that, it gets a little tricky. I had one not that long ago. It was 21 days, and already that's getting a bit too late. Mainly because they don't sleep so easily. They hear, they see, it's stimulated a little bit more, and then they'll wake up, and the ideal is when the baby is sleepy, so that you could put them in positions and they don't start crying.
If you have never seen these pictures that we're talking about, oh my gosh, they are some of the most beautiful things I've seen. And they shake the babies sitting like this, you know, and stuff like that, and they put them like on a swing or in a little bed that's like a little doll bed, you know, and they dress them all in the costumes. There's such great pictures, but like she said, there's only like this window of opportunity to do it, within the first 2 weeks of their life. So.
And then sometimes women are exhausted at that time, and so they're not really ready. But if they're really into it, though, you know, I just tell them lay down, relax. You know, I'll take care of everything.
Right.
But it's sometimes not. Yeah, sometimes I might miss that. But I'll do things like if they come in for a maternity session, I will give a little like, okay, then if you come in for the newborn, then we'll do a little discount.
Little package.
Put together.
Little package deals. That's good. That's a good one. And then, so maternity, that's a fun one to do as a couple, and also engagement. I bet you do you do those like proposals and
engagement. Usually engagement. I mean, I've done a few proposals. I mean, I know they are round, but I've mostly done engagement sessions and with the wedding. But a proposal is also a good one. It's fun to.
A little different, a little different.
Another good question here from Chris. What is one photography tip that anyone can use to to take a better picture?
That's a good question.
That's a really good question.
Okay, well, very simple one. Maybe a lot of people already know this, but if you're going to be in a place where the sun is shining, you know, right somewhere over here, and what you don't want to do is, especially with the cell phone, is place. I mean, usually you would let's say the sun, like the sun's behind me here. For a photographer that has a nice flash or something to fill the face, the sun in the back is very pretty because it creates a little glow in the hair. But if you don't have the flash in the front, but you could do it, you could turn on your cell phone, the flash turn on and focus on the face. You want to have light in the face because otherwise the face is black. Just like when you're sitting in front of a window and someone's looking at you and they say, oh, your face, I can't see your face because the sun's in the back, and the camera reads that too. It's just black. I mean, dark face. So use a flash or turn around towards the sun.
Okay, gotcha.
But
that's interesting. I didn't know that you could use the lighting that way, you know? So
it'll fill the light here so that it matches the sun a little bit, and that way you just have the glow, and then you have your face nicely lit, and you can make sure that flash is on your cell phone, and then put the flash.
Or you could have an extra light or something. Wow. Okay. I'll try that one next time. That is a good tip.
You see, even like when we're on Zoom, sometimes you see people all dark and the light in the back because they have the window back there. The camera is
focusing on
the lighting from the back,
and not on your face.
Yeah.
So then your face turns out even darker than you are already. Yeah, that's funny.
It's also a great trick if you don't want to be seen on Zoom. We'll just stand right there on the window. Another Earl also says, tell them about your photo memory books that you do for bar mitzvahs and weddings.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. Well, those are.
Thanks, Earl.
Yes, I know, Earl. You're giving us lots of ideas. Well, I have that's it's something that's done for. I guess it's on my website. You could actually see a little reveal session where I hand somebody their album. And it is for their son's bar mitzvah. It was for their son's bar mitzvah. But it's just a story. It's a storyline of the photos that are taken during the event. Okay. And then I just arrange them in a certain way. It's just the album for the event itself. And I think that's what he's talking about.
So you actually put it into an album for them?
Yes.
Yeah.
I arrange
very nice.
They're nicely done with different shapes and sizes, and so it's and it's hard pages, so and it will last for a long time for that reason. Leather cover, maybe like that.
That's a very nice little feature. Yeah. But you also give it to them on a digital too, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you give them to both ways.
Yeah.
Wow.
And again, it's like the weddings. It all depends. We discuss all that beforehand because sometimes people have a large budget or they have a small budget, and so
Yeah, but you can't.
Mhm.
I don't know. If you're getting married or these special occasions, you gotta have some memories. And I mean, I realize that people have their cell phones and they have the memories from that and everything, but there's nothing like a good professional photo, especially of like the entire family getting a whole.
Yeah, and then because then I can be the one that, not the mom having to the dad having to take the photo, and then often the children don't listen, to the parents or I don't know. It's very different when they come into a studio, and I've counseled them beforehand on not to tell the children what to do. That I will tell the children what to do, and it's and we'll do it fast too. So okay, everybody jump in, and then they'll come. So it doesn't take the children don't get bored and tired, and but I can guide them and just the way they should sit and the way they could maybe be near next to their sister or their sibling or so that they can interact and the parents could be in one place so we could see them as well. And it's a lot of just it's not much a nicer outcome for the family because I'm directing it.
Yeah, it's always, or we're always asking someone else that we see walking by to take a picture.
Can you take a picture?
Yeah,
And it's all out of
another
focus.
Hopefully they're good at it.
Can you tell us, on our iPhones, a lot of times people, we turn it around and do a selfie, right? What is a good trick to use so that when you do the selfie, what happens on the iPhone is the people at the end, they look wide. Yeah. So what's a trick that we can do that we don't get wide, unless you're in the middle?
Right. Well, what you can do is you can get one of those sticks.
Selfie stick.
So the camera's further away, and therefore say, well, this is originally where the people are, right? This is it on the two sides and everybody in the middle, and you had the wide angle, and say you had it focused like here and here, just on the edges. But instead, when you have a stick, then you can take the camera further away, so the edges get wider. So no longer they're not on the edge, they're not over here. And so you just get back, and that way they're not more towards the center than the side.
The reason why they're getting this way is because the camera's too close, because your hand is only
with that lens, because the lens tends to kind of go wide and everything.
Only when you turn it around.
Yeah, well, not only when you turn it, even when you're taking photos out there, it's all when you use a very wide angle, it kind of distorts a little the sides, and but if you put everybody towards the center, which it will happen if you move back, because then you'll actually be towards the center. I don't know how to explain that very well,
that actually makes sense.
Yeah, and you're not on the edges anymore because you went back further with the lens, right? So now all of a sudden, where the lens was just taking like here to here, and then you move back though, and now all of a sudden the lens is from here to here taking a picture, and now you're towards the center. The group is in the center.
So we have to start taking the selfie stick with us.
Well, if we don't have a sticker, then use it back
ask somebody else to take a picture.
Or someone else. But I find it mostly it happens more when we turn the camera around to do the selfie, not as much when you're taking, when you're doing the photograph.
Okay, well that you are closer too.
You're right.
You're holding
you're
just
not
here.
doing that. But
I don't have an iPhone first.
Okay.
And then I'm talking about, that's normally with cameras in general, that's the lens issue. I have a feeling when it's a selfie, you're just ending up being much closer.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah, because you're like, you're like this. The other thing that is, in my opinion, the thing with the phones is that when you're taking the picture this way, you tend to look a little bit bigger. Everybody does, But I find that if I tilt it just a little bit, it works so much better.
I mean, tilt it kind of downward a little bit.
Downward, yeah. So, but if I'm taking a picture of you and I tilt it like this a little bit, the picture comes out much better.
Yeah.
Why is
just
that?
a little. Well, you're taking everybody's kind of your eyes kind of are a little bit up, so you look prettier too. Your eyes, and then you're taking everything gets narrower down this way. Kind of because it goes down narrow when you're up like that, tilting, and it gets smaller like this one. So I don't know. That makes sense.
But
But it's also the eyes, because instead of being just straight on. When they take a picture up, your eyes are opened and looking up a little bit, so you have more open eyes.
And then the last question on that neck issue. What do you advise to get a good shot where you're, because that's what a lot of my friends are always concerned about, you know?
The neck, yeah. Well, there's two things. You see the actors and actresses on the runway. They'll often kind of, they call it turtle. It goes, not the shoulders stay still. The head goes out a little bit and then down. And it's this kind of provocative look. But you don't want to go this way, never that way.
Okay.
But you go turtle, but just with the head, and then down. And it opens up the eyes too, because the chin's just a little bit down. And then it's just a shadow here. And that's also when I do lighting, everybody photography, they do it up a little bit. It creates a little bit of shadow under here. And we just have a fill to light the face, the eyes.
Yeah, so when you're doing it that way, you're not like this. So.
No, and you don't want to ever pose like this. Of course, it's going to be up the nose, and you see the chin, but it's just a little tilt the chin down, but not in. It's just
so
down.
Somebody told me a trick, and it's kind of seems like they were right. Is they said to put your tongue towards your front teeth and hold and go like that. So it does kind of make you go.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of the same thing.
Yeah, a little bit of the same thing. So that's
and
interesting.
When I work with people, I always have to try a few different things. Because sometimes people just can't get that or this and then just to relax, to tell them to do things like so they're kind of. But that's more about not just the chin, but that the photographer will do the shadowing down here, so that helps a lot.
All right. So what would you like people to know? You take a minute and tell people what would you like to know about your business?
Yeah. Okay. Well, what I'd like you to know is that I'm looking for dance studios actually to photograph. I just have to get to the people to call them. I've called them myself. I've contacted a few people, but the best thing for me is to actually have a personal contact, somebody, referral from somebody, so that I could speak with them and just let them know what I do, because I'd love to go into schools and photograph the kids. And there's a setup where I have the backdrop and the children come in during rehearsals or when they're having the mid or last year performances, and then you take pictures in their costumes, and then the mom and dad, the families love to buy those little photos, and because it's very nice memories of the children.
But you want to do kids dance, not adults.
Adults as well, because I love to photograph companies and performances and things like that, but there's not a lot in Los Angeles that are actually professional that could actually pay a photographer this.
Okay. Have you? We have a dance studio that's part of our.
Culver City Biz. Yes. Yeah.
Did you meet them at the June event?
I did meet her, and I was actually going to tell her when I get back from because she sent me an invite to go to one of her little.
Okay.
But I had met her, and when I came back from Europe, that I was going to contact her just to.
Okay. Yeah, that's Deborah from By Your Side Dance Studio, and she's located just right here in Culver City. But at the Biz Fair when you had your table, she was outside.
Yes, I went and said hello to her. Yeah. So I did meet her.
Oh, good. Yeah, she's a lovely lady, and maybe talk to her about what you want to do, and maybe she can, figure out if some people there might want to take some pictures.
Yeah, for sure. And she might also know other people too, or dance studios, because
yeah, of
she's
course.
connected.
There's that one, and then there's another lady, Diana Collins, and she's got a studio on Mesmer in Teal over there by where that whole where you go to Centinela and Sepulveda, like where the Hilton Hotel over that way. So she has a dance studio called DC Dance Studio. Have you ever been there? She does.
I haven't been there, but I've heard
she does children.
Okay.
She does a lot of kids.
That's,
So maybe you can go over there. I think I have her number. I'll connect you to her if you want.
okay, yeah, I love that. Yeah.
I don't know who else, but there's probably many others.
Yeah, there are many studios. It's just to
Yeah.
get about the timing too, because some people have their photographer ready.
What else do you
But,
want people to know?
No, okay. Well, that I available to photograph your headshots and your branding, your personal branding, if you need it for your business. Happy to go to your location, and I'm happy to have you in my studio too, because it's nice and cool and it's comfortable and have beautiful lighting.
Let's go there now.
Yeah.
And do you have, do you do product photos as well?
I do. I mean, I should have said, once somebody asked me and I said no, but because I think of product photography as this, this grand presentation where you're, blowing up things and lightning is coming out and all that. But yes, I do product photography. I mean, I photographed a lot of artwork for art galleries and I do sculptures on, simple backgrounds and I've done a few, products, just, simple things on tables and, there's.
Okay, so you could do product and people. So if you have any of that kind of stuff, any need for a photographer that way, please contact Julie. Again, her business is called Camera Creations, and is that cameracreations.com?
.net.
.net, okay.
Yeah.
Cameracreations.net, and again, this is Julie Hopkins, and please, if you have, I'm sorry we don't have any examples to show you today, but she has done a lot of our biz fairs. I think this last one was maybe 3 or so that you've done with us. And anyway, you can catch her at one of those as well, or if you come to the Culver City Biz events, you can catch her there. And just go to her website and take a look.
Yeah, the best thing, to find out all the images and everything I've already talked about is on the website.
It's on the website.
Yeah,
And anything else you want them to know?
wow, I don't know. I don't have anything else that I want you to know.
I think they can find it on the
Yeah, I
website
think
at this
so.
point.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right. Well, thank you so much. This was great. It was fun, and learning all about your business. It was wonderful. And thank you, everyone, for watching. We have our in-person Biz event coming up, and that is going to be on Thursday, August 6th at 4:30 p.m. It's always on a Thursday. We usually do it like the first or second week of the month. And this time our hostess is Tiffany, and she is going to have it at this location called Meli in Mar Vista. It's M-E-L-I. So it's close by. If you are in the neighborhood, whatever, that you want to come by and check it out, you can come meet us in person and meet a lot of other businesses in person. We have a great time. We do all kinds of different little events within the event, and come over and check it out. There'll be food, drinks, and it's all free to attend. So again, that's Meli on Washington Boulevard in Mar Vista, and that's on August 6th from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. All right, thanks everyone for watching. Have a great weekend. Happy Friday to you all. Be safe out there, and most of all, stay cool.
Yes.